talking about cooking ourselves actual meals. Society tells women that either we need to not eat because we need to be dieting, or we need to be cooking for our families, and they force us to do that because if we want to buy something at the grocery store, it's not necessarily in a single serving size.
Treating myself the way I wish a partner would treat me is a critical part of decentering men, and that includes feeding myself. So go watch that video. It's tagged in the caption, and Jules does amazing content like this. And she brings up a really great point. So I talk a lot about dating ourselves on here, and I'm going to go into that in a little bit, but I want to start off with the feeding ourselves. That's part of dating ourselves. Why aren't you good enough to have a meal alone? Why aren't you good enough to cook for? You know, I still resist this. I've been resisting it my whole life. But when I was really in that, like, trying to date myself when I first started into it, by the way, I read the book, The Artist's Way, which by Julia Cameron. It's a really great book that helps you kind of fall in love with yourself. And it's not just about like being an artist. It's literally about just with curiosity, getting to know yourself and your own and your creativity, your creative side. All of us are creative, every one of us. But another part of that, when I was doing that, I started buying myself flowers. And you know, I always said like, I don't want flowers, because I'd only been given flowers twice in my life up until, I don't know, well, until I met my husband. The first time was when my boyfriend cheated on me in high school, and I found out about it, and I found 24 roses on my front porch. Another time was when my abusive ex was cheating on his girlfriend that he had just told me about, and I was like not okay with that, and so he left me a flower. A rose on my windshield on Valentine's Day. Anyway, I had never been given flowers for a good reason. So I started buying myself sunflowers because they're the cheapest. And I really don't care about flowers, honestly. Every time I come home, I'm like, look at you. Look, somebody loves you. And it's me, right? And another part of that was cooking myself meals every day. Now, that was a revolutionary act for me, because I am literally the person who would eat Cliff Bars, granola bars, rice cakes with avocado, rice cakes with bananas. I would literally eat snacks all day. In fact, my husband is the one who cooks for us. He still can't believe how poorly I feed myself. Really pure laziness. I also realized once I learned about ADHD that it's habitual. It's so overwhelming to think about food and planning food that I just rather eat. Oh my God. It's a very busy beach. It's so overwhelming. I'd rather just eat something boring. When I moved to France, I ate rice cakes every day, or croissant. So I'm telling y'all, this is something I've resisted my whole life, my whole adult life. But when I was really in that stage of really trying to date myself and really take it seriously, that was one of the most important things I did, was cook myself a meal. And I know it's like, but what's the point if it's just one? Do it anyway. Do leftovers. Because there's something about putting love into food that you then consume. It just makes you feel better. My husband, again, like I said, he's the one who cooks for us. I don't cook anything. I have never cooked for us, not once. He's also French, but he didn't know how to cook really well when we met. But food is really important to him. Part is because he works for a gastronomy business, so he was always eating at work. You know, it's hard for single people to cook for themselves, but it's really important we learn how to do it. Not to please a man, not for a future ghost husband, or not for our families, but for us. For us, y'all. Again, I will always like fast dinners, girl dinners, or whatever. But I think a really good way to get in the habit of dating yourself is to at least cook for yourself a couple times a week. You know? Cook for yourself the meal you wish someone else would cook for you. Because you are the love of your life. You are the most important relationship in your life. And I want to say all that to say that I still date myself, even though I'm married. And whenever I'm not still dating myself, I start losing touch with myself. I start getting resentful at my husband. I start being a big old bush. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? And I'm like, oh, I haven't taken myself out in a while. This was one of my favorite dates that I went on recently. I went to a skating party. I saw it on Facebook. I didn't know anyone there. I just showed up with my roller skates. And I didn't know anyone there, but it was really cool because I got on this little skate train, And it was so cool, y'all. There's so many people just skate dancing. It was amazing. And actually this summer I went on this random date with myself to this chicken barn party in the middle of nowhere, France. I was staying at my in-laws. We were dog sitting, and I saw this poster, this thing, and I was like, what's that? I want to go to that. And it was cool. It was like they had like, it was all like organic farm food and stuff. And they had all these crate couches and they had this amazing girl band. And she did a little opera thing in the middle. Oh, it was so cool. And honestly, I really think that not only do you need to date yourself before you ever get partnered up, if you ever get partnered up, because really you don't need to be partnered up to be happy. I promise you, you will do much better in a relationship if you've been dating yourself for a while, because you'll have a high standard. You will love yourself so much that you will not settle for less. You will love yourself so much that if you get into a relationship and it is not making you as happy as dating yourself made you, you will know that it is time to exit that relationship because it'll just feel wrong. And also, dating yourself in a relationship will give you that confidence to know that you will always prioritize the love for yourself over the need to be in a relationship. Because I promise you, every time I go on a date with myself, I not only, in my marriage, I not only reconnect with that 39-year-old that rented a scooter and rode up the coast of Spain, not even knowing how to ride a scooter. This was maybe the dumbest thing I've ever done, but I figured it out. Connect with this woman who travels, who has been to so many places alone and didn't need a partner to enjoy them, who even went to a four-day rave in New York City by myself because I didn't know anybody who liked techno and loved dancing, but I really wanted to go, so I went. This little bunny actually was kind of a jerk. He was like, actually, that was a weird date because everyone was on like drugs and I wasn't. I haven't drank or done anything in almost 20 years, with the exception of a little bit of, and God, he shamed me for not being high. Fork that bunny. But it was still a good experience. I danced my butt off, man. The point is that if you don't like enjoying time alone, if you don't know how to pour into yourself, if you don't know how to really treat yourself, well, why would you expect yourself to know what healthy love feels like, what it looks like? If you don't like your own company, you're going to hang out with total douchebags to avoid being with yourself. And that's how women get up into dangerous relationships that leave them, like worst case, but like best case scenario, you end up with husbands that don't really like you. You're just hanging out watching TV together and they exploit you for your labor. You deserve better than that. But it starts here. It starts with us because we don't need men. We don't need relationships. Decenter romantic love. Decenter men. Decenter all the ideas around what you have to do for other people, right? Because that's part of patriarchy. It's not just about men. It's about doing stuff for other people. It's not that you shouldn't do those things for other people, of course. But if you I love doing things for other people, but if I would never do those things for myself, that's the problem. Learning how to love myself is one of the hardest things I've ever done. But taking the small actions of dating myself taught me how to love myself. And also, I still hate myself on a regular basis. But it's more love than hate at this point. You know what I mean? You are the love of your life. And then maybe someone can join you on that journey. But if not, you'll still be okay.